Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Washington. I'm the VP of Products here at CPA Site Solutions, and you should be attending our webinar introducing OfficeMojo, the better way to communicate with clients. I'm hoping you can hear me. I won't be able to hear you. However, just a couple of things before we get started properly. Number one, we are recording this webinar, so you don't have to take screenshots or write down notes unless you want to. But just know that we are recording it, and anyone who's signed up or attending this webinar will receive the full recording with the presentation. So you can relax and just take in the information that we're providing. Number two, there's a questions box in your GoToWebinar interface that allows you to be able to ask questions of me. While I'm doing the review of the slides and the presentation, it's hard for me to answer questions, but as soon as I get a break or as soon as I'm finished with the presentation, I will answer questions either online or I'll read the questions out loud and answer them, or answer them personally for you. And lastly, we usually have a quick two-question survey at the end of our webinars that just help us provide better results every time we do a webinar, and we take them seriously, so I really appreciate you filling out that survey. So thanks for taking the time today. This is a pretty interesting topic, and based on the number of attendees, there's a lot of interest in this topic. Today we're going to talk about a better way to communicate with clients. I'm Keith Washington. As I said, I'm the VP of Products here at CPA Site Solutions, and our goal is to provide firms, accounting, bookkeeping, financial planning, CPAs, a number of different types of small businesses with ways to improve measurable practice or firm growth. And so we are really talking about a solution that allows you to engage with your clients and prospects and communicate with them in ways that are new and different, or maybe in ways that they expect to be communicated with. I'm also here to introduce a powerful new solution that will effectively provide you with ways to communicate, which helps you keep your clients engaged and makes your firm ultimately more profitable and more productive. Our agenda is short. The meeting and the webinar should take about 30 minutes, and then I'll take time for questions. But I'll just briefly talk about the different channels to communicate with clients, the impact of effective communications both on your firm and on your clients and prospects. I'm going to introduce OfficeMojo, our automated client communication tool, and do a quick demonstration of OfficeMojo so you can get a feel for what it actually is and how it can work in your firm. And then I'll take questions and answer any follow-up questions that you have. What are some of the best ways and channels to communicate with clients? I want you to think about this. How often, for instance, do you feel like you aren't reaching your clients with important messages that you have for them? For instance, it's time to get your documents in order, and you want to be able to communicate that to all of your clients. Or don't forget this deadline, you have to remember that, or remember that tax filing season is just around the way. There are a number of ways, the times that you want to communicate to your clients, and sometimes you communicate to them and it doesn't feel like they hear you. Or separately, how many times are clients late for appointments, or miss appointments altogether, or don't bring the right information to the appointment? This costs your firm time and money. I was listening to someone talk about this feeling that you get if you have an appointment, say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's 2:05 and your client hasn't arrived. Maybe you've called them and you left them a message, 1 minute into it, or you had your front office person give them a call and they're not answering. You don't know if they're coming or not. You're not sure, and so should you go work on something else, or should you give them an extra 10 minutes? If there is a way for you to make sure that you improve the time to make sure that they're going to make it to that appointment, how important is that to your firm? Separately, how can you effectively communicate with clients in ways that they want? Some people want to be communicated by email. Some people want phone calls or text messages. Direct mail is still a way to potentially reach prospects. And more we're seeing social media take off in terms of being able to communicate with clients and prospects. And so there are many different ways that you can communicate with clients, but how do you do that in a way that resonates with them? For instance, a number of businesses like to call my phone number. My wife and I have a landline, and our family does, and we haven't answered that landline in over a year. It's probably time for us to get rid of it because we rely on cell phones. Some people only want to be communicated by email. They don't like text messages. Or some people only communicate by text message. Understanding which methods are best used for each message that you want to send out is important, and you want to have the flexibility to be able to communicate with clients and prospects in the ways that they want. And how does that really help you? What's the benefit of all that? First of all, it improves your profitability and efficiency, and that's really what's important. But separately, it also allows you to stay in top of mind with your clients. If you're communicating regularly with them, maybe that helps them remember the things that they're supposed to do, or it prevents them from going to talk to your competitor. It helps you reduce no-shows and last-minute cancellations. And I talked about how critical this is for businesses. This is lost profitability and lost efficiency when someone doesn't show. Most of you who are in the tax business realize that so many clients wait till the very last minute. Well, what if you could schedule your appointments or give them the flexibility to schedule appointments at times that are convenient and when you're available, and you can spread out your workload. It also helps you improve efficiency and meeting effectiveness. People showing up on time with the right information makes you, as you well know, that your meetings much more effective, much more productive, and helps you be able to service them and serve them in much better ways. Ultimately, this establishes trust in you and reinforces your credibility through professional communications. If you are having a professional relationship with your clients, it helps them understand the ways that you want to interact. It helps them understand the type of firm that you are. It helps them be able to operate or respond back to you in a professional way. And then that improves client satisfaction. Really having a client that is happy is probably the best thing that you can do in terms of making sure you have repeat business, as well as making sure that your clients will spend more money or do more things as their business grows. Most of you aren't just tax professionals. Most of you also do payroll or some other services that you have for your clients. And as your clients grow, you want to be able to let them know that you can service all of their needs. And you also want them to let their friends know that through referrals, which is why we created OfficeMojo, an automated client communication solution that includes appointment notifications, appointment reminders, email marketing, and other features designed to give you the flexibility and speed with which to communicate with clients. Some of the key features of OfficeMojo include automated appointment reminders or confirmations by text or email, and you can do that at the click of a button. An online calendar so that you can easily manage all of your appointments. Two-way text messaging, both between you and your contacts right through your computer, and I'll show you how that works. Integrated online appointment booking so that if you have a CPA Site Solutions website, your clients or your prospects can book an appointment online through your website, and then you can approve that appointment to save you time so that people can book appointments or request appointments from you 24 hours a day. And then the ability to send notifications and reminders through various channels, not just one channel. And it remembers those channels that you've created so that you don't have to remember the way clients want to be interacted with. I want to show you a live demonstration of OfficeMojo. And once I do that live demonstration, I'll come back and then we will answer questions that you may have. You should be able to see a calendar. I really hope that you can see a calendar interface on your screen. And the calendar that we have is the hub for all meetings and appointments that require or call for automated communication. This calendar interface that we have allows you to create new meetings, to interact with your clients through these meeting requests, to determine what notifications you send, what types of notifications and reminders you send, and really is focused on your meetings. Really is focused on just your meetings. One of the things that we thought was important early on is that we didn't want to just connect you to your current calendar, because in my current calendar, I also may have an appointment for a dog shampoo for my dog or a basketball game with my teenager. So we created a separate calendar interface just to handle meetings and appointments so that you can see that. Ultimately, you'll be able to integrate or read that information back into your Google Calendar, for instance. But we thought it was important, and I'll show you why, that you have a booking calendar just for your meetings and events. It's really simple to create a new meeting. So suppose I want to have a meeting on Friday with my clients. And so all I have to do is click here, and I can create a title for the meeting. So I can have a payroll review meeting. I can select the start time and end time, and it automatically picks that up from the appointment that I have. But let's say I want to make that at 10:30 in the morning, or last for an hour from November 9. I can set up my clients, and they have a list of my clients, and I'll show you how to get to those clients. But let's just say I want to be able to have a meeting with this particular client, and I can have multiple clients on my meetings. I can determine here whether or not I want to notify clients of the meeting. Maybe I'm sitting right next to them in setting up this meeting, and I don't want to send them an email, or maybe I do. I'll talk to you about tags in a minute, but just know that tags are a powerful way for you to segment your clients. And then I can create any notes that I want. Remind client to bring in information. Then I can determine what reminders I want to send. You can do this globally, but note that with this particular interface, I can also modify my global settings for a given meeting or for a given client. So in this case, I've turned on these types of reminders. 3 days before, I'm going to send an email, and it's going to remind them of the date. Here is an example of what that email looks like. Here's the name of the person, when the meeting is, and allows the person to confirm the appointment. I can also, 1 day before the meeting, send them a text message and remind them of the date. And here is what that text message will look like. And I'll show you how to change that. And then 1 week after an email, if I choose to, I can send them, after a meeting, I can send them an email asking them to leave a review. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about reviews, but just note that reviews become more and more important in the digital marketplace, and it is standard for you to ask for feedback or reviews on how your performance went or how your interaction went with a client, for 2 reasons. Number one, it allows you to get feedback from the client that you may want to correct, that you don't want them telling other people. Or 2, they may be raving fans, and you want to make sure that they do that. OfficeMojo allows you to be able to send or request feedback or request reviews without you having the uncomfortable discussion with the client right there during the meeting. So here's a meeting I've set up for November 9th. All I have to do is hit save, and the automated reminders and notifications will go to the client. As you can see, I now have the payroll review meeting right here on the calendar. This looks simple, but the calendar is a very important, very powerful component of all that we do in OfficeMojo. As I said before, you can also have all of your clients in one location. And it's important that you are using this interface to manage your clients for a number of reasons. First of all, please know you can import your client information from Outlook or Google or from a CSV file. We will bring that information in and make sure that it's formed correctly. If you are like me, I've had the same Google Calendar or Google Contact list for maybe 10 years. And a lot of times my Google contacts say something like Joe and a phone number. And that phone number may be on home, it may be on mobile, it may be on office, and I have multiple Joes and I don't know which Joe it is. Well, you don't want to just set up a meeting and send a notification to a random phone number. So we created an interface for you to be able to manage your clients in a more effective way. Think of it as a mini client management tool, a mini CRM, so that you can make sure that the communications that you're sending to clients are accurate, have the right information. So here I have a customer or a client list that has all of their information here. As one of the things that we've added is you can easily send an email to any client right from the interface. So if you wanted to quickly send them an email, you can do that right here. You can also filter the list to just anything that you type in, and it will filter the list based on that information. We also have the ability to tag clients, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, as well as when their next appointment is. This is really important for you to know when you set up the appointment, so that if you don't have clients with an appointment set up, you can reach out to them and find out, when their next appointment is going to be. So that's really important. But all of your clients can be managed from one location. To add a client, as I said, you can either import it, or I can simply add the client name in here. I can type in the birthday for the client. I can tell what gender they are, their email address, here is where a client can opt out of receiving emails, and we have a mechanism that they can send a text or an email that says, I want to opt out, and we will automatically opt them out. I enter my address. My mobile phone, a home phone, a work phone, or other phone. And again, this is really important because we are pulling text reminders from that mobile phone. You don't want that mobile phone or home phone to be getting text reminders. What's really neat about the client select section is you can also see what your appointment history is, your communication history, and add notes about a particular client. So if you want to make sure that you know that this client's business has been growing over the past 10 years, or that they have another business they're starting up, this is a way for you to be able to save that information. And all I have to hit save and that do is hit save, and that client now becomes part of your client list. I want to talk a minute about tags. We think that tags are a very powerful way of being able to group clients based on certain things that are important to your firm. So for instance, if you have clients who are payroll only clients, and you may want to communicate to these clients certain things, and you want to be able to send out emails to your payroll only client group, you can do this. Simply select a color for my tag and then hit save, and then that becomes part of the tags that we have. One of the things that's interesting, that if I wanted to know which one of my clients are accounting only clients, then I can click on the accounting only tag and I will see those clients, what appointments they have, how we've communicated with them, and then reconfirm the tag with that client. If I had clients that I want who are W-2 clients, I can select that from my tagging list. This is a really powerful tool of being a way of being able to group your clients in ways that that allow you to send them important messages. And lastly is the settings area. This is an area that you will use when you first come in, where we set up your account profile. You can set up your user profile. We allow you to have multiple users with multiple accounts or multiple calendars in the same firm. And so if you have 5 members of your firm, you can have all 5 members have their own calendar and be able to manage their appointments from one calendar. If you want another member of your firm to attend a meeting, all you have to do is add them to that particular meeting. This communications settings section allows you to determine the defaults for all of your communications. So for instance, for all of your appointment reminders, you can set the defaults for all reminders. So it could be that your reminder default is that I'm going to send an email 3 days before, and then I can preview what that reminder is. I can send a date reminder by text 1 day before and an email reminder 1 week after, but I can change all of that. Maybe I want to send a text message with a date reminder 3 days before and a text message. All of these are just your global settings, and as you saw when I created the meeting, I can modify them for a given meeting or a given client. And the same thing for appointment notifications. We also allow you to send out birthday wishes. That's one of the reasons we put in the birthday section or the birthday in the client name information or in the client contact information, and the system will automatically, on their birthday, send them a birthday message based on what you want it to be. I'm going to talk about online booking in a second, but with CPA Site Solutions websites, you can have clients send an online or request an online meeting, request a meeting with you through the online interface. This particular screen just determines your availability, default availability, and you can block other sections or other areas that you want. And finally, this particular section allows you to set up your signatures or what you want to see on every email. So when you see the emails that come from me, they all have this information on an email and this information on the text. I mentioned online booking. I'm going to show you an example. Here is a test website for a firm, and all we'd have to do is add a book an appointment page to your website, and you would get this nice interface that allows clients and prospects to book an appointment with you, or at least request an appointment. I want to be clear about that. So for instance, if I wanted to request an appointment with this particular person, so if you have multiple people in your firm, I can choose which person I want to set up the appointment with, what date I want to set the appointment with, and only available times will show up in this appointment list. So I'm going to request an appointment for 11 o'clock on the 8th. I type in my name information, my phone information, my email address, I accept the terms and conditions, and then I hit book now. So this was for Thursday the 8th at 11 o'clock. Once I hit book now, I get a booking confirmation that says thank you for requesting to book an appointment, and then that person who I requested the appointment will be back in touch to confirm the details. The importance is that someone's not just jumping onto your calendar without confirmation. You have to accept them. So if you can see here, here's an appointment request. I also received an email that told me that if someone has requested an appointment, you see an appointment request because it's in red. That means it has not been confirmed. And I bring up an interface that allows me to review the appointment request. Here is the email. I can add this person as a new client because I've never seen this person, or I can link it to a client that I already have. I already know Keith Washington. He's requesting an appointment with me. Here is the message. Here's the appointment date. I can cancel. I can decline the appointment, or I can continue on. And then I bring up the appointment screen, the same screen I saw when I created the calendar. It's a full circle. So here's a 1099, a tax organizer review for Keith Washington. I can then determine if I want to notify him. And remember, all of the automated reminders are set up. So once I hit save, he's going to get a text message that I defaulted, but I actually want to change that to an email 3 days before. If it so happens that in this case it's 2 days before, that email will go out today. And then one day before, a text reminder will be sent to that client. And then, as usual, maybe I don't need a request feedback for this person, so I can turn off that functionality. And then I hit save, and now the tax organizer meeting is now booked in my appointment, and that time is now blocked on the online booking system. There's one more thing I'd like to show in terms of Office Mojo, and that's this feature called Instant Message. There are times, for instance, when you're being called away to an appointment, or you have a scheduled appointment this afternoon and you have to change that appointment. And you don't want to have to go figure out, you don't have it in your phone number, all of your client contacts, and you can tell the person who works at your front desk, I'd like you to send a message to Keith to let him know that I have to move our appointment. So all I have to do is go in and compose a message. I'm going to send Keith Washington a message. I can pick from a message library. So, for instance, if I want to send a text out to all of my particular groups or anyone who is late with their 1099 filing deadline, I can do that as well. And I can put in a message to move this meeting. And I can send the message right from that point. It automatically sends Keith a message on his cell phone. And then I'm just going to show you. I just went and responded to that meeting, and then I can look in my inbox and notice that I just got a message from Keith Washington that says, that's fine, we can reschedule. And all of my text history with this particular person or this particular group is now saved. So I can send back a message saying thanks or whatever I need. I can also take a look at all of my activity that I've had in terms of text messages over time. Office Mojo is a powerful tool that allows you to send automated reminders, automated appointment notifications, and email messages to your clients and prospects to help you reduce your churn and increase your productivity, as well as increase client satisfaction. I want to just go back to the slides. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Go back to the slides and let you know that people will ask me, or already been asking, how much does it cost? Our standard price for Office Mojo is $99 and $69.99 a month. This fall, actually all the way until the end of this year, we are offering Office Mojo for no setup fee and only $49.99 a month. There are no contracts. You can cancel at any time. There's no commitment. The first 5 users, as I said, are included. And if you want to add additional users, you can do that for only $4.99 per month. We think that Office Mojo is a really powerful tool today in being able to allow you to communicate with clients and prospects in ways that they want to be communicated with. I also believe that this solution is going to continue to grow as the way communications with clients and prospects moves more and more to digital. We are a digital society now. 80% of all U.S. households have an office, have a cell phone, a mobile phone, and 100% of your target market has a mobile phone and is connected by email. Here's an opportunity for you to be able to communicate with them in an efficient and effective way. So I'll take some time to look at the questions now. As I said at the top of the meeting, you can ask me questions in the questions box. I hope that one of the questions is I can't see your screen, because then I'd have to do this again. But let me see what the questions are. So one of the questions that we have is that does the calendar stand alone or does it sync with Google Calendar? I appreciate them asking that question. We're going to sync with the Google Calendar this month. We didn't do it with its initial launch because we still believe that this calendar is best used standalone because Google Calendar has so much, I wouldn't say garbage, but a lot of information in the Google Calendar from us having them as businesses over the past 5 or 10 years have made it unwieldy to use it as an automated reminder tool. But we will add that too. We will add that as well as off Outlook. First comes Google Calendar and then Outlook. There's a lot of questions about Google Calendar and Outlook. I think that was all the questions that we had were really so far about linking with your calendar. So if you're a member or if you have OfficeMojo, you'll see that come into play within the next couple of weeks. If you have it, you'll see that as soon as you purchase the OfficeMojo program, that integration. And we actually feel that the sync with Google Calendar is pretty powerful in that we've cleaned up some of the limitations that may come with just using a Google Calendar interface. Other questions? Please don't hesitate to send questions through the questions box. Oh. I had someone ask when's the next webinar. They missed the first few minutes. I do want to point out, as I said right at the top, I'm recording this webinar, and if you have signed up for the webinar, you'll get this recording. So you didn't feel. I don't want you to feel like you've missed anything. There are a number of questions, and give me a second to look at all of them. It was an interesting question. With users who are currently using OfficeMojo, do you hear anything about clients becoming used to instant messaging instead of traditional email? That's a really good question. And what we're seeing over time, because we also have this particular solution in other verticals, is that people are moving more and more towards text. However, if you're trying to communicate marketing messages, so you want to make sure people remember something or you have a new specialty in your firm, they like to see that in email. The thing is that you want to be able to ask the question of your client, how would you like to receive communications? And then you can target those communications and save those preferences on a given client. I have a question about whether or not the single calendar shows all of the users in a given calendar if they have appointments at the same time. The way we've set up the calendars is if you have 5 members in your firm, they all have their own calendar. There is no master calendar, but each one has their own calendar. If you want to have one master calendar, then you use that. Make sure you combine all of your client lists and then use tagging to have clients that are Joe's clients, use tagging that are clients that are Mary's clients, and then you can segment or all use the same OfficeMojo calendar. So you have ways to do them both ways. One, if you have a firm where I only want to see my clients, you can do it that way, or you can use tagging for a single client. I have a question. I think I understand it. Does the online appointment request block off or limit access? So you want to be, you say you want to, here's an example, I want to limit appointments to morning only. You can certainly do that. You set up in the settings section that I'm available Monday. You can make it as simple as Monday and Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And those are the only appointments that will show up on online booking. Also, if you already have a meeting booked, you will only see those, a person who tries to book an appointment will only see the available times in the slots that you make available. Some of the questions I may have to answer online because I'm not sure. Someone did ask, can this be added to a different website, not yours? So you can use, and we sell Office Mojo to non-CPA Site Solutions website customers. Office Mojo is a standalone application. What we don't do is provide the online booking interface for website customers because we don't control that website. As we're making changes to that interface, we want to make sure that those changes are inside of our system. Ultimately, one day we may allow online booking or provide an API script for online booking to non-CPA Site Solutions websites, but please know that you don't have to be a customer to be a website customer to be an Office Mojo customer. I have a question. How soon will Office Mojo be a CPA website? I think I understand Office Mojo is available now, and you can link it to your website today. The cost, someone asked about the cost again. Right now, through the rest of this year, it's no setup fee, $49.99 a month for the rest of this year for anybody that purchases towards, from now until the end of this year. I usually don't get this many questions, so I'm trying to answer them as quickly as I can. But I really appreciate having these questions. Someone asked, can you set appointments for different office locations? Absolutely. If you have different locations, you can set up multiple calendars based on those locations. So all you have to do is ask our onboarding team to help you do that. You may have multiple calendars with multiple locations and then link those calendars to different locations. So I want to make sure, because we're recording this, I'm going to stop the recording. I will answer the rest of the questions online. I'll either answer them to everyone so that everyone can see the question and then see my reply. But they'll also, if you have a specific question about your specific case, I can answer it to you separately. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to attend this webinar. Please note that CPA Site Solutions is really here to help you and your firm grow through digital marketing, through client communication, so that we can help you engage your current clients as well as attract new clients. Please don't hesitate to call us at any time if you're interested in Office Mojo or any of our other services. We're happy to be able to help, and I thank you for taking the time.